And she's still saying something.
All right, go ahead and get your homework.
Yeah. What if you train your dog to eat?
Then I guess we're gonna have issues. All right, any questions on the homework?
Are you sure we have to do that?
This one ends on a lot of stuff. I'll just say typically on the test that you'll take tomorrow, the issues are going to be you don't know the difference between an altitude and a median, right? They're two really generally simple concepts, but the kids that didn't take great notes, they don't in their minds have the understanding what's the difference between a median and an altitude. Altitude is just in this chapter. Altitude is just I don't know, shape. A median you get something from. It creates something, two equal parts. But an altitude, at least in this chapter, next chapter we get something out of it. An altitude doesn't make anything for us. Yet I'll have questions on the test that say which one is the median, which one is the altitude. You don't know the difference between the two. I'm saying these are really low-level point or questions that you're going to miss if you don't know the difference between an altitude and the median. So when I hand you this practice test in a second, it's going to say know these definitions and know these theorems really well. Knowing the definition is just that an altitude goes from any vertice of a triangle down to a side and it makes a right angle. That's it. There's nothing you get from it other than it makes a right angle. The median, however, goes from that same vertice to the opposite side and it cuts the opposite side in half. You get something from it, and I will have questions on, with numbers, like a skill type thing. So it really makes me sad when kids miss that easy of a question. So I always make a point of stating it. Lastly, the practice test is going to say, make sure you know theorems 4.5 and 4.7 really well. By really well, it just means if you understand what it means, right? One of them talks about cutting an angle in half, and then one of them talks about when a point is on the perpendicular bisector. All right, any questions on, and by the way, this is what our homework was on. Questions on the homework? Let's take a look at number 13. Let's see, 13 states the following. It's proof. It says, given that P is on the perpendicular bisector of AB. So AB, right? AB. If you are on the perpendicular bisector of that, immediately what do you know? You said it weirdly. Try to say it better.
The two sides are somehow bisector.
Two sides are 90 degrees? Two angles are 90. I'll buy that. So that's 90, that's 90. What else? There's two parts you get out of that, perpendicular bisector. You got the perpendicular part. What's the other part of that word? What does that give us? Cuts in half, so congruent. All right? So P is on the perpendicular. So P is somewhere. I think it's down here. Where's P? P is on the perpendicular bisector of AB. And then further, you get BC. And it says P is on the perpendicular bisector of that. So what do you get? Okay, so we get that, and you got the perpendicular part, and then you get this. Now, we can't say that what I just did in red is similar to that, because it could be true, you just don't know. We just know that P is on the perpendicular bisector of BC, and P is on the perpendicular bisector of AB. It says prove that PA, where's PA? Prove that PA is congruent to PB or PC. PC. Prove that. Right? Ugh. All right, I'm going to draw another dotted line. S A, where's the other S?
Did they share the?
Reflexive, right? So we would get, I need what, 3 tick marks now? Or actually, I don't mind drawing tick marks, but we can see that this triangle is congruent to that triangle. So therefore, this side, CP would be congruent to,
TC.
not PC, but this side.
Yeah.
Now let's look at this triangle, made of 2 parts, SAS, therefore this triangle is congruent to this side, therefore that side is, and you're done. I just proved that that side is congruent to that side. There's a talking proof, right? Without the steps. I think that's probably the easiest way. Did anybody come up with an easier way?
I just
Which 2 triangles?
APB and BPC.
How did you do that?
So we had PB like PB.
Okay, so he got that this is congruent to itself. So I got an S.
And I proved that the angle is congruent to
How?
PB. I did this a while ago, okay?
Mm.
So I proved that AP is equal to BP by congruency.
Well, if you could show that this triangle is congruent, I'm not sure if that's true or not.
I use substitute property, so I proved that.
Because I don't think that these 2 angles are congruent.
No, I misspoke. Those 2 great angles is not part of my
Okay.
So I
Notice we have a isosceles triangle here.
Yeah.
Isosceles triangle here.
So I proved that AP is equivalent to BP, and then BP is equivalent to CP, and then BP is equivalent to
Well,
BP.
you can certainly show that AP and BP are congruent, absolutely 100%.
And then I proved that BP and CP are congruent, and then I just used the substitute property to say that AP and CP.
Right, so I did that as well too. The issue is that this angle and this angle, I don't think they're congruent.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that.
And that's why I don't think you can show that those other 2 triangles are congruent. All right.
I didn't use CP.
All right, anyone else? All right, I'm going to collect that. We're going to jump on our test. Now, this is a special thing. The test is tomorrow, but tomorrow is the first day of the quarter. So I'm going to backdate tomorrow's test to today so that we can have 1 more grade. And for those of you that need to raise your grade, here's your chance. I'm going to say this as emphatically as I can. If you aren't smart enough to take a practice test that is identical to the real test and get an A on this test, shame on you. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to give you the practice test. It is identical, other than, of course, the numbers are different, right? And there will be a proof. Obviously, the proof will be different. But if you aren't smart enough to take a practice test, which is identical to the real test, and get a passing grade, shame on you, right? There's a couple people that are riding the CD line right now, right? If you want to know what you have to get on the test to get a passing grade, I will tell you what you need to get a passing grade, right? Most of you, it's pretty low because you've done okay on turning in homework. You've done okay sort of kind of on the quizzes. It's the test that you haven't done so well on. So most of you need to get a C or better on the test to get a C or better on your grade, okay? So please study for this test. Please take, we'll go over the practice test right now, as much as you want to, or as little as you want to. But please take this serious, because technically I don't have to backdate this one, but it makes more sense. We finished it, within 1 day. Rather than start off the first quarter or the second quarter with your first F or something like that, let's start off, or let's finish with a passing grade. John? I don't know, you look like you had a question. Cool? All right, I'll collect the homework in just a second.
Why Mississippi?
If I were a practice test, Chris is going to come by later to grab your homework. All right. So here is your aforementioned practice test that I said would be identical to the real test. And by identical, I mean with exception of question 1 and 2, which really aren't any questions. I just wanted to make sure that you can tell me the definition of altitude and median are, so that when you see it on the test, You know what it means. Yes. Everybody got one? Three got one? Okay. How do I have 3 extra? Should have.
Because you printed 3
Oh, no, I printed 1 extra. Who are the 2 people that are? Maybe I did print 2 extra. Oh, I did because of the original copy. That makes sense to me. All right, I'm talking out loud. I'm saying the quiet part loud. All right, let's take a look at this. Let me change my share here for the online kids to what we're on, and then I will broadcast this. I am. We're broadcasting live. Stop share. Share this. Right here. Okay. Obviously, 1 and 2, it just basically, they're just descriptions. They're not really questions. Let's take a look at question number 3. Karis, read that sentence. What's the key word there for the instructions? This is box number 3. What's the key word? What? No. What's the key word? Bailey, what's the key word? Madison. Median. What the heck is a median? All right, if right now, as you sit here, you can't tell me what a median is, you better know it by tomorrow. Danny, you know what a median is? It's the middle of what? I know where you're going with that, but I'm not going to claim it's the middle line. I mean,
It's the blue line.
It's the blue line is the median, and I can see why you might think it's kind of the middle. What is it really?
It is bisector of vertex.
It is not the bisector of the vertex.
Yeah.
It is.
It goes from one vertex to the midpoint.
It goes from one vertex. I'm looking at number 4 here. It goes from Q to the midpoint of the opposite side. Midpoint of the opposite side. Midpoint means what? It means the middle. So this blue line on number 4 goes to point X on RP or PR. And it's the middle of RP. So it says find XR. When it says find XR, it means find the distance. So it's asking me to calculate how far is that.
So PR is 2, then it's 1.
Hold on. I'm doing it slowly so everyone can get it. It says if PR is 2. Well, where's PR? PR goes from here to here. So it says that's 2. And we're trying to find the, well, not the middle, it's X. We're trying to find this part right here. But we know the relationship between XR and PR is that XR is half of PR. Therefore, how big is it? All right, you got to tell me if you're lost on that concept. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. Or maybe you're like, he gave us 4 of these. This is simple. Right? If you're lost in that, speak now. I can ask this question 2 ways. I can give you the whole thing and ask you what individual parts are, or I could give you an individual part and ask you the whole thing. You with me? Say again, Danny. Do you understand what the word median means? It goes from here to the middle of the opposite side. So that says find XR. XR is right here. So it's half of the whole thing. It says the whole thing is 2. Therefore, half of it would be 1. Okay? There's a way I can ask this type 1. Type number 2 is find the whole thing. So which one asks to find the whole thing? I believe it's question 5. Is that right? No. Question 6 is one of those. Notice what question 6 asks. It says find. Nope, still not right. Question 5 is the one I'm looking for. Question 5. Everybody look at question 5. It says find SR. Is SR the whole thing or half of the thing? Is SR the whole thing or half of the thing? Say again? It's the whole darn thing. If YR is 2.2, Well, where's YR? YR is right here. Therefore, if YR is 2.2, then the whole thing must be, oh, by the way, there are the answers, and they're on your paper as well, too. So I can ask this one of two ways. How big is the whole if half of it is this number? Or how big is half of it if the whole thing is this? Am I confusing anyone? Can you do these 4 questions? Guess how many will be on the test? 2 of them. So take a guess at which 2 it'll be. 1 of each. One where I give you the whole, you find the half. One where I give you the half, you find the whole. I'll put 2 of those on the test. Easy money, or well, I'm going to screw that one up for sure. I'm saying that I think this one's a pretty easy one, and I'm being nice and giving you these questions. Okay. There's 4 of them there. I would practice them all, you know, especially those of you that are not too confident. Let me get rid of all the answers so you don't see them. Move away, picture, so that I can, there we go. Okay. The next thing we did also from the last section, what's the key word for questions 7, 8, and 9? What's the key words there? Angle bisectors. Danny, what's an angle bisector? What is a bisector? Close. Not just the triangle, and it technically doesn't divide the triangle in half. What does it divide in half, though? As its name would imply. What word do you see in angle bisector? So what does it divide in half? The angle in half, okay? So question number 7 says, find the measure of angle 1 if the measure of angle 2 is 17. Now you're told that the blue line is an angle bisector. Yours aren't blue. You're told that the blue line is an angle bisector. So Bailey, if 2 is 17, how big is 1? You tell me, easy or hard? It's easy because you know the definition, you understand the concept. For the person that's not paying attention, I don't know what to do. But when you do, you're like, holy cow, is it really going to be that easy? Yes, it will be that easy. That's one way I can ask the question. What's the other way I could ask the question? If the whole darn thing is what? What's one of them? Which one?
Same thing.
Which one is like that? Number 8. It says, find FHG. Danny, when it says these 3 letters, what should you do with your pencil? Okay, and then outline it so you don't make a mistake. So go F, H, G. Oh, I'm finding the whole darn thing. You see what I did there? Okay, you can get messed up when it gives you 3 letters. It says find the whole darn thing if 2 is equal to 39. But we know that the blue line, it'll be black tomorrow. We know that the blue line is an angle bisector. So if 2 is 39, Danny, how big is 1? We know it's an angle bisector, so 1 is 39. So how big, you don't have to tell me the answer, but just tell me how I can figure it out. How big is the whole darn thing? You just add those 2. Yes? So 78, right? I can ask that question 2 different ways. How big is the whole if I give you the smaller part? How big is the smaller part if I give you the whole? How many of these will I ask you?
2.
I'll ask you 2, 1 of each.
How long is the test?
This is the whole test. So I gave you 40, so I gave you some practice problems, right? Right? I don't want to give you just 2 and like, well, here you go. I want to give you some practice ones. Okay. Ready to move on? All right. Woe unto you if you're not ready for tomorrow. All right, the next topic says to do what? Okay, classify each triangle by its sides. Guess what you're going to need if you don't have this memorized? You're going to need your book of truth with that page that says triangles by sides. There's 3 types of triangles by sides. What are they? Isosceles. How many sides equal? Nope. 2. What's another one? Equilateral with, and then the last one that nobody remembers. Scaling. Okay? If you have that memorized, you don't need your book of truth for this one. I'm going to claim that most of you probably still need your book of truth. Danny, can you remember those, or you need to flip through your book to find them? Okay, do you know where to find that? Okay, that's on you, buddy. Okay, so here's the problem. Look at the shape. Guess what I gave you? I gave you both side measurements and angle measurements. The way they will try to trick you is they'll give you an isosceles triangle, right? I'm not trying to trick you here because I gave you all the side measurements. So, hey, all the same, or some of them are different? How many sides are the same in question number 11? There's only 3 sides then. How many sides are the same? 2, so that makes it, you got to tell me, right? Hard or easy? As long as you know the difference of the sides. The program doesn't allow me to get rid of the angles, otherwise I would. Okay? Do I need to go over them all, or you got this? Okay. Don't let Matt answer for you. Well, the other type of question would be if I give you the angles. So if I give you the angles, do you have that piece of paper handy? What are the 3 triangles by angles? Acute, obtuse, and right. That's it. Acute, obtuse, and right. Hey, number 15. What do you see?
Wait, so are those sides still going to be on there?
The sides will still be on there, right?
So you really only need one person.
Correct. Yeah, but even though this is isosceles, if you put the answer isosceles, it's not classifying it by side. This was obtuse because it's got an obtuse angle. This one is right because it's got a right angle. This one is, I can't see it either. It's on your paper in front of you. Is it acute? The last one, if all the angles are the same, it's the 4th one. It's the only one we got 4 of. Equiangular. Right. So you have right, obtuse, acute, and equiangular. For sides, it's only equilateral, isosceles, or scalene. Easy or hard? Shame on you if you missed this. It's in your book of truth. It's an easy skill, but you got to be able to do this.
Is this literally the test?
Only on question what? 18 of 40. All right. This is your, well, not your this is your 2nd year with me. I give practice tests, and they're like the real test. All right. It says find the measure of each angle indicated. There'll be a question mark of where they want to find you. They can ask this a couple different ways, right? There'll be one question mark always, but sometimes they will give you 2 numbers. Sometimes they only give you 1 number. Bailey, did they give me a 1 number, or did they actually give me 2 numbers here? What's the 2nd number then? So how do we do this?
Take both of those numbers you add them up and subtract what you get
From 180. Yes, Danny? Okay. Easy or hard? Pretty easy. I'm not going to even do one of those. I'll let you have the fun doing that. All right, now we arrive to the one that will cause problems. I think this is actually the easiest part, right? But you got to remember we now have 5 ways to prove that triangles are congruent. Amaya, give me one of them. ASA. Bailey, give me another one. Harris, give me another one. There's 5. What? SSS. There's 3. Micah?
What?
We got 3. Give me another one. HL, and there's 1 left. What do we got? AAS. Those are the 5. Whoops. Those are the 5 ways of proving triangles congruent. You've done this lots of times. In fact, we had a whole day of just nothing but review here. The ones that are tricky are the ones that don't have something listed. There's only two things you need to be watchful for: a reflexive side or vertical angles. I guess maybe a 3rd one would be if there's a right angle involved, that sort of thing. But you won't miss that one. But hey, question number 3. Does everybody see the reflexive side? Dave, do you see the reflexive side? What's a reflexive side? That's a side that both triangles share. You see on 23 that both triangles share a common side? So therefore, you must be equal to yourself, right? So we would be able to put 3 tick marks there because that side is on both triangles and it's congruent to itself. Therefore, Danny, why is 23? Why are those 2 triangles congruent? 5 different ways. Which one? You got it. Bree, is it kind of sort of making a little bit more sense for these ones? Look at number 25. Everybody look at 25. What do you immediately see, Bailey? What do you immediately see in number 25? Do you see any reflexive sides? Any sides that they share in common? 23 has a reflexive side. Do you see any side that they share? There's no reflexive side in 23. Do you see that other special case one that I mentioned? I said these are the 2 things you got to be looking. What? I see vertical angles, so we could put arc, 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 arc. All right, you got to tell me now. Where's your 5 ways? Which one is it? Look at one triangle and read it. Where do you see an angle, side angle? Which one do you want to start with? An angle or a side? If I start with an angle, it goes angle, angle, side. This doesn't go angle, side because you skip this angle, right? You can't skip it if you start with that. So angle, angle, side. This one is congruent by angle, angle, side. Cool? There is a 6th one here, but that's the one where they're not congruent. Okay? Look through all the ones that I gave you, somebody, and tell me which one is not congruent. What number? Who's got one? 24 apparently is not congruent. Well, let's see if that's true. 24, can everybody see the reflexive side? So I can put 2 tick marks. So let's see, we got angle, side, side. So clearly not. We do have an angle, side, side, but it's hypotenuse leg, so there's got to be a right angle involved. You're like, well, it looks like that's a right. It might be, right?
It also might be 89.
Notice the triangle on the left actually reads, Cadence. Do you see that? The triangle on the left says SAS. If you only look at one of the triangles, you can get this wrong.
That's why I was about to get that question.
Agreed, and that's what will happen. You got to look at both triangles. When I look at both triangles say this one SSS. But on this one, the left triangle says SAS. The triangle on the right says angle, side, side. Be careful on that one. Agree? You can go either way, but you start with, I don't know if you want to describe it as the farthest one away from each other, that sort of idea. So if I start right here, and I'm gonna go counterclockwise. If I go clockwise, notice I'm missing this angle, I'm missing this side. You got to go where the tick marks are, or the arcs. So this would go SAS. If the other one was SAS, we would be good, but if we go from here, it doesn't say SAS, it says angle, side, side. Okay? Bree, notice on 26, it goes angle, side, side, it goes angle, side, side. Hypotenuse leg, though, is only for right triangles. Therefore, even though this says ASS, the right triangle, it says hypotenuse leg. Right triangles are the ones that will, special. They get an ASS. Except it's not called that, it's called hypotenuse leg. Confident or not confident about these? I will probably give you 10 of these. It's either going to be 8 or 10. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm going to give you a lot of these. This is either good for you or bad for you. If you got this down, then you're like, well, this is going to be an easy test. So far, I think you should get the impression it's a fairly easy test. We okay? All right, next topic. And I usually don't do this for practice tests, but since some of you, I definitely want to make sure you have a passing grade, we're doing it today. All right, let's see. Here we go. So this is once again on the level of things that are easy, things that are challenging. This is easy if you know what you're doing. It will give you a triangle congruency statement. It will also give you a picture. Guess what you should look at? Don't look at the picture. Look at the congruency triangles, congruency statement. This says HGI is congruent to, make sure you put an angle symbol, and some of you are still lazy about that. HGI, I'm going to go up to my triangle congruency statement and just follow that pattern. HGI would be last, first, middle. We go to the other side, we go last, first, middle, and therefore we would get UGI, and that was an angle. Number 34, I'm not going to look at the picture. I'm going to go to the triangle congruency statement. It says angle U. Well, angle U is the first letter, so first letter we go with first letter. It works the same thing for sides, except instead of an angle symbol, you're going to have a segment symbol. I'm probably not going to give you 6 or 7 of those, but I might give you 4 of those. All right, questions? All right. 39 through the end is the, I don't know, the one that if there's going to be a problem, right, and there should be one, this is that type of question. It's a simple thing if you pay attention. I want you to write a triangle congruency statement. So it doesn't matter. You start with the left one or the right one, top, bottom, however they're listed. Karis, which one you want to start with? Left one or the right one? Okay, give me 3 letters. QRS is what she chose. Right? Congruency, put a triangle symbol and follow the pattern. Some people look at sides. I look at angles, right? As long as they're marked, and they will be marked. QRS goes 1. I'm looking at angles, right? 1, 2, 3. See where I'm getting the 1, the 2, and the 3 from? It's not that there's 3 vertices. It's there's 1 arc, there's 2 arcs, there's 3 arcs. Go to the second triangle, follow the same pattern. 1, 2, 3. What do you got? I what? IJK. You tell me. Is that an easy or a hard skill? Okay, there will be 1 proof on the test, which I can't have you practice for. Proof's worth 10 points. All right, it'll be the difference between an A and a B and a C, and a C and a D. Okay? If you got everything right except for the proof, then you could almost get a 90, right? But you got to get everything else right. But if you don't get everything else right, and you get the proof wrong, that's going to be minus a lot of points.
So I literally.
If you got everything right except for the proof, you get a 90 out of 100. Right. But chances of that happening without making a silly mistake, I'm just saying the mistake you're going to make is that you're going fast and you see the SAS and you write SAS and the other triangle is ASS or something like that one was. So I can't help you with making silly mistakes, or you just do a silly, like the internal angles add up to 180. If you just add wrong, you're going to lose a point for adding wrong type thing. So chances of you making perfect, with the exception of the proof, that's not a good bet to take. All right, who is lost on what's going to be on the test? It's in front of you right now, other than the proof. Okay, I will promise you that the test will be exactly like what's in front of you. You just now need to study for it. Some of you, I know, Bailey and Karis like to make a new page in their book of truth and like put stuff down. Well, now I know what's going to be on the test. I'm going to put it down on this one page. That's a good idea, right? I'll let you guys figure out what your good ideas are for that. Any questions? All right, use the remainder of the time to go over this test, right? And work, if you want to make a separate page resource card, do that type thing. Remember, it's still open notes, and you can have a calculator, right? If you miss the questions on the third angle and I let you use a calculator, shame on you, right? Danny, questions? You got a good idea what's going to be on the test? Which one do you think is the hardest for you? Okay, so can you pass the test and not get the proof right? Okay, there's a technique right there. But Danny, guess what I expect you to do on the proof this time around? Set it up, right? I expect to see statement, reason, the given listed, right? At least you know how to start, and then give it a shot. You're sitting there and you're done with the test. There's 20 minutes left, and you don't try the proof. Do it. All right, Chris, come around and grab your homework. Matt. Is your middle name no homework? You're just giving away 3 points. 3 points. Shut up.
What would I have to get to pass?
What you understand is if I did my inverse in Spanish.
I would have to ask Siri to help me with that translation.
What would I have to get on the test to pass?
So this, I have to be careful in answering that question because I will have some kids, especially, usually not juniors and seniors, but I will have freshmen and sophomore where if they say, what do I need to do to pass the test? And I say, you literally could get a 10 on the test and pass. They will literally try to get a 10 on the test, not realizing that this is your permanent grade. And for those of you going to college, you need to do as best you can on everything.
So
Okay?
what would I need to get to pass?
Chandler, I'm afraid to look at your grade because you were one of the ones that would probably literally try to get a 10. You do, and you need to get a better score so you get a B, not a C.
And then a flower, I'm like a bee. You like flowers, don't you? You wouldn't make a very good bee. Huh? Yeah, maybe good for you.
Karis, what do you think you need to get on this test? What do you think you need to get on this test? Take a guess.
Okay, well, then
Take a guess. Everyone can take a guess. A what? A B would make sure you pass, yes. Ethan, what do you need to get on this test? No.
Well, I know my mom.
Come here. So we break this up into 3 parts: test, quiz, homework. You haven't been turning your homework, so that's why you got that.
Yeah.
If you just get a, and this is your grade rate, if you got an A on this, right, test, right, yeah, maybe even a high B, I think you would, this would be much better. All right, you can do this. Yes?
Yep.
All right. All right, e-learners, I'm going to stop it right there. If you have any questions, the test will be posted by, I want to say 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I believe that's when I have it posting. If you have any questions, send me an email.